What's good? What's good? It's your boy Ashy Knuckles Boxing. Back on you one more time. Added on to the Odd Man Out series. At this point, I hope you guys are really enjoying that series. It is what it is. It pains me to have to do this particular video because it has to do with the WBC middleweight champion from Houston, Jermall Hitman Charlo. Let me give y'all a backstory. For a while, at one point, Juan Diaz was the only champion representing the city of Houston. Raul Marquez had long lost his title to Fernando Vargas. Reggie Johnson before that lost his title to Roy Jones, and on and on and on and on. So Juan was holding us down. And in Savannah's gym, there was a crop of young talent up under him. And two of them happened to be the twins, Jermall and Jermall. Now, Jermall was signed with Golden Boy Promotions, and it was moving him, trying to get him seasoned within the professional ranks. Jermall was not signed with anybody because he did not decide to turn pro at the time his younger brother did. So he basically had no promoter, no manager, no advisor, and nobody was moving him. Odd man out. But fighters in that particular situation gotta, take the fights they can get. They're not getting no tape on their opponents. They don't know if they're fighting a southpaw or a right-handed fighter. Not getting no tape on the opponent is basically like the amateurs. You just show up, be on weight, and you fight. So he always had to be in some type of shape because you still got to make weight. Well, even being in that situation, he kept his undefeated record intact. Destroying the guys that they, managed to put in front of him, or the guys who he happened to be put in front of. But over time, he will position himself in a place where he can be around top-notch promoters, managers, and whatnot. And he ended up getting offered 3 contracts. And we had a conversation once he got those 3 contracts. Jermall, if you peeped this video, I want you to remember that conversation you had when you got those 3 contracts. There's only one way I could have known you had 3 contracts. You had to have told me, in case you forgot. Well, anyway, one was from Don King, one was from Al Heyman. I forget who the third one was. Well, I think we all know who he decided to sign with, and it managed to be a good look because Al Heyman will put him in position to where he gets dates on television, and the world began to see that Jermall wasn't the only talented twin out of the equation, that Jermall had something to offer too. And around 2013, he went 7-0, 7 knockouts. Only to be shafted for Prospect of the Year by Vasily Lomachenko, who only had one fight to his resume. Now, they try to reason that he should have got the Prospect of the Year award based on his participation in the World Series of Boxing at that time. But the World Series of Boxing at that time is not like the way it is right now with Regis going up against Josh Taylor. No, the World Series of Boxing at that time was being organized and sanctioned by an organization called the AIBA, who sanctions amateur fights. And over time, they began to distance themselves by sanctioning semi-professional fights. But it's not professional. That's why you did not see those 6 victories on Lomachenko's resume. Just that one victory. So he should not have gotten a Prospect of the Year. But that's neither here or there. Odd man out, right? Well, since that time, Jermall kept mowing through the competition and kept climbing in rank till he managed to get a title shot against a 2-time world champion, Cornelius K9 Bundrich, who represented the IBF. Well, we all know what happened in that fight. Jermall stepped on him like he does pretty much everybody else. Became the IBF world champion of the junior middleweight class. Now, at this time, it was a consensus that he was one of the most dominant champions in the weight class. But there was one problem, though. His stablemate, Erislandy Lara, was the 154-pound champion for the WBA. And his brother Jermall Charlo was the WBC champion of the 154-pound class for the WBC when Mayweather decided to retire and the titles became vacant. And the only other champion at that weight was Canelo Alvarez, who nobody's going to dictate who he fights or what weight he decides to fight or campaign. So once again, wanting to unify the division, but he can't because he's not going to fight a stablemate or his brother. Odd man out. Well, after that, he got an opportunity to fight some former world champions. He would fight Austin Trout, and then he would fight Julian J. Rock Williams, who was a surgeon prospect turned contender, undefeated, boiling hot, basically another Jermall Charlo. This was a fight between two skilled guys. In other circumstances, would have been a pay-per-view type fight. You know what I'm saying? It at least could have headlined his own card on a major network, for major money. But they took the fight, for the money that they can get at the time. Well, Jermall would beat Julian J. Rock Williams and continue to solidify his claim as one of the dominant champions in that weight. So, being of the fact that he can't unify at 154 pounds, and his body is beginning to tell him another story, that you can no longer even fight at this weight. So he had to go up in weight, work his way in a position to where he can get an interim title, which would later get full distinction as the middleweight champion of the world. Once again, Canelo does not want to face him, right? Does not want to, make his mandatory against Jermall Charlo. No one's going to dictate to the star fighters who they can fight. So, Jermall Charlo, still blue flame hot, still wanting to prove that he is among the best fighters on the planet, can't get the fights that he wants. And here's another obstacle. The guys in the middleweight class that can help him solidify that claim as being the top fighter in that division are all signed with the Zone. Triple G signed with the Zone. Canelo Alvarez signed with the Zone. Demetrius Andrade signed with the Zone. Billy Joe Saunders signed with the Zone. He may have even went up in weight to 168 pounds. And then you got Danny Jacobs. Oh yeah, the Miracle Man, Danny Jacobs, the guy who signed with the Zone in 2017, only for early 2018 him and Jermall to get in the spat in Brooklyn, to where now they want to face each other. In fact, Danny Jacobs said the fight that he wants most on a personal level is the Jermall Charlo fight. Odd man out. So here it is, my man Jermall, man, my boy. You know what I'm saying? The twin I spent the most time around when I was going to the gyms and stuff like that. I spent more time around Jermall than Jermell. Spent a good time around both of them, but more Maul than Jermell, because a lot of times I showed up and Mel was doing other things, trying to build their brand, Lions Only. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, ever since I known Maul, he been wanting to fight the best fighters in the world. When I first met him, he was like 5-0, and he wanted to fight Canelo at that point. It was nothing for him to say, man, I need a prospect, bro. I need a prospect. The dude wanted to fight the best at that time, man. And he ain't nothing changed. He only got bigger and he got more hungry. So at this point, man, I know my guy wants to fight the best guys they got out there. And I don't know what more he has to do to position himself in that position where they would want to face him too and put pressure on Eddie Hearn to make that fight. You know, we all heard about how there's a side of the street here and there. And I've already done a video on that. And we already know, us guys in the boxing world that have been around the sport long enough, there ain't really no side of the street. Quit playing games. There was no side of the street when Errol Spence went over to the UK to fight Kell Brook for a world title on foreign soil. There was no side of the street when Al Heyman allowed Gary Russell Jr. to face Vasily Lomachenko. There was no side of the street when Al Heyman positioned Andy Ruiz to fight Anthony Joshua for the Unified Heavyweight Championship of the World and the rematch. So that's Top Rank and that's Matchroom Boxing, all working with Al Heyman. But all of a sudden, Al Heyman just won't do business with them. It's a side of the street. Quit pulling pipe. It's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? These fights need to happen, and these fights can happen. And anything else is just positioning from these promoters running to the media, telling the story so they can prolong the inevitable. These fights need to happen. They need to be the inevitable. These fights need to happen. You know what I'm saying? This is the sport of boxing. You're holding these guys' legacy up. You cannot go down as a great if you don't fight everybody that's within and around your weight. And I got a guy, the WBC middleweight champion of the world, 2-division champion, Jermall Hitman Charlo, that's been wanting to fight the best guys in the world. And because he want to fight them so bad, he don't even talk shit about them. He not trying to do anything that will get his name out of the mix, out of the sweepstakes, so he can get that fight. All he keep doing is whooping ass in the ring, and they finding another excuse to avoid him, and then blaming the guys who represent Jermall Charlo, the brass at the PBC. But the brass at the PBC have shown that they're willing to fight their top guys against each other, and their top guys to fight other guys. I've already brought up Gary Russell Jr. against Lomachenko, Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua, Errol Spence versus Kell Brook. And I can go on and on and on. Y'all guys are just acting like you got amnesia. You know what I'm saying? But until these situations on a promotional and managerial end sort themselves out, my guy, my homie, you know what I'm saying? One half of the Lions Only twins, man. Jermall Hitman Charlo is the odd man out. Make sure y'all like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel, man. Share this with everybody you know. Get them tapped in with your boy, Ashy Knuckles Boxing, because that's all I got for you right now. Stay tapped in. I got more to come, man. Be easy. If you like the content that you heard in the video, subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button and the bell icon so you can receive notifications whenever there's a new video or whenever Ashy Knuckles decides to go live. Also, go by MandatoryDefense.com, where the ring sorts out the facts for the latest news and updates and views in the sport of boxing. Also, go by Facebook.com/Come Out Fighting and like the page. You can also catch up with your boy, Ashy Knuckles, on Twitter at A Puncher's Chance. And if you want to donate to the channel and to the website and in general to the cause, look in the description box below. You can catch me at PayPal me at Ashy Knuckles Boxing. That's all I got for you. I appreciate y'all for stopping in. It's your boy Ashy Knuckles, and that's all I got for you. Peace.